Meeting to order at 6:30. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from June 25th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from June 25th, 2019 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes. Just for the record, we need to add under new business, spousal insurance. It's already on your agendas because that was added, but the preliminary agenda went out to the web, out on the web without that particular item on the agenda. So I'm officially notifying everybody that item has been added to the agenda. The other one that we need to add is under correspondence, a copy or a discussion about the education tax rates, which we just received. Anything else to be added or deleted? Alrighty. Hearing nothing else, then let's do the warrants.
Make a motion to check warrant number 1, payroll, the amount of $11,301.05. Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll warrant number 1 in the amount of $11,301.05, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to check warrant number 2, payroll tax, in the amount of $4,738.61. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll tax warrant number 2 in the amount of $4,738.61, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes.
Make a motion to check warrant number 3 out of the general fund, the amount of $12,708.86. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 3 in the amount of $12,708.86, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 4 out of the general fund, the amount of $115.18. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 4 in the amount of $115.18, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 5 out of the general fund, the amount of $135.50. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 5 in the amount of $135.50, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 6 out of the general fund in the amount of $3,344.02. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 6 in the amount of $3,344.02, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 7 out of the highway fund, the amount of $781.20. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 7 in the amount of $781.20, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 8 out of the highway fund in the amount of $109.32. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 8 in the amount of $109.32, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 9 out of the equipment fund, the amount of $603.39. Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying equipment fund warrant number 9 in the amount of $603.39, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Alrighty, so we'll move on to the report. On to report for the highways. Is there anything that needs to be reported other than draining the fountain?
Bartlett did plant 2 new trees on the common. They did 1 red oak and 1 silver maple. They have been back in the mornings doing some watering. Johnny Evans was over there today. He made a ring around the 2 trees and did some watering this afternoon. So those trees have been planted. The fountain, as you mentioned, did fill up with water over the holiday weekend. So I had to drain it today and it needs to be cleaned out. There's a lot of debris, rocks and sand and dirt inside of the fountain. So that'll be cleaned and it should be back up and running. tomorrow afternoon or Thursday morning. And the guys are still cleaning culverts. They're on Buck Hill and West Hill right now. And we'll be wrapping that up by the end of the week, and then we'll be looking for some culvert replacements on Buck Hill to take place.
I do have one question. I was out in West Townsend today. Is it the state that's mowing out there?
Yes.
Okay. I just saw a mower, roadside mower.
Yeah, the signs were up today.
Any other questions for highway? No, right? Then we do need to ratify the signatures on the letter of intent to participate in the Municipal Roads Grant and Aid Program, which was a short window that we received this email, and Steve only had like 2 days to decide if he wanted to participate. He decided he did, and it had to be back before the meeting happened. So we did have a quorum come in. I signed it, Steve signed it, and Crystal signed it. So what we need to do is make a motion to ratify the signatures and the intent to participate in the Municipal Roads Grant and Aid Program for FY20. Somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion about what it is?
What is it?
It's basically this, with the help of Wyndham Regional, they choose one of the roads that have been identified, or a project within town that they're going to complete, and the state is going to pay a portion of,
Uh-huh.
to bring it up to the, what are
The best management practices.
right,
Uh-huh.
that whole Brenner Road thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to bring something, to identify a project and bring that section of road up to specs, and the state, was it 80%, I believe it was?
Yep. So we qualify for $15,000. We need to, our part was $3,000, but our part can be labor, equipment usage. So that's where our contribution
Is
comes
this for
from.
the roadway or for the sides of the road?
It can be for stone lining ditches. It can be for changing culverts. Their main
Not
concern,
pavement or any of that type of
No.
stuff? So nothing to do with really
Surface.
the traveling of the road?
it's to limit the amount of sedimentation that goes into perennial streams. So a candidate for stone line ditches would be Plum Road opposite the guardrails, where we have a lot of sediment. When we have heavy rain, the culverts empty into a perennial brook, and that's the
They do
purpose of this
not,
program.
they empty into a big sinkhole on my corner.
Just the bottom part.
But yeah, so is there any further discussion about what this is and what's involved? I don't know, has Wyndham Regional contacted you yet
Not yet.
about,
And there's
What that
also supposed
project-
to be some participation with the planning commission
Right.
with this program. So, and your answer to that is no, I have not been, no one has contacted me.
okay. So is there any other discussion or information about this? So all those in favor of ratifying the signatures of a letter of intent to participate in the Municipal Roads Grant and Aid Program, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So that takes care of the signatures that we did off time. Then moving on, the next order of business would in fact be the counter report, which you all got a copy of, showing the money that's coming in. I will also note that the fees have gone up substantially as of the 1st of July. The state set a new service fee for things like recording and the cost per page, etc. So there'll be a major change going forward in the amount of money that is going over the counter. So any questions on that? Alrighty, then moving on to the town treasurer.
The sweep account, $856,849.11. Your checking account, $26,494.75.
Okay, any questions? Alright, then moving on, staying with finances, so to speak. Let's move on and talk about the education tax rate for fiscal year 2020. They were late this year. They just came in and have been distributed to the select board and to the municipal offices. The non-homestead tax rate this year will be $1.60 and 1/1000. So 1.6001 is the non-residential rate. That's up 15 cents from last year. The homestead rate for all of us who live here is $1.90 and 4800, so 1.9048. And that is up 10 cents over last year. Now, we are still waiting, just as part of that conversation, we're still waiting for one number from the state to be able to actually compute the tax bills for this year, and that is a hold harmless number. That number should be out hopefully within the next week, and we'll then start talking about doing a workshop to actually set that tax rate and get those tax bills out by the end of the month. Oh, that was good. The other issue that comes forward in conjunction with this is this rate may not be the final rate. There is a vote next week on the 16th on whether to allow Wyndham to leave the Leland Gray Union District. If Wyndham is allowed to leave, that number would change. That number would actually go up because we would have to pick up the extra costs at Leland Gray for the students that would be leaving from Wyndham. So that may throw another monkey wrench into the works as far as when those tax bills can be distributed and how quickly that can happen. So everybody just needs to be aware of it, but that is going to be a substantial difference in your tax bills this year before we even talk about what happened with the town. All right, so moving on. We did receive engagement letters from Sullivan and Powers to do our audit now that we've closed out our year. I believe, I don't remember exactly what page it's on, what the fee number was, but we agreed to do an accrual audit this year with Sullivan and Powers for $25,800 once the books were closed and reconciled. So we have an engagement letter which basically commits us to having this audit done by Sullivan and Powers. If someone would like to make a motion to sign the engagement letter, we will do so and get it back to them so we can get this show on the road.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on what it's about or what it is? All right.
It's in line with the quote that they gave us.
Yes, that's
I
exactly
presume.
what it was. So all those in favor of signing the letter of engagement for Sullivan and Powers, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So there's only 3 lines, so we need just keep going down the bottom. And Carla, one of these is a copy for us to maintain the file. So that one, do this one, this one. So if we could get these out in the mail tomorrow, because I know they're waiting for them, so they can make the contact to send her the list of items that they would like to have her prepare. Okay, so one in the file, one goes to them. All right, moving on. Okay, we had to find the letter. We received a letter from Grace Cottage, and it says, "Dear members of the Townshend Selectboard, the purpose of this letter is to inform you that the Grace Cottage Family Health and Hospital has hired a contractor to take down the Dennison house and barn on Route 35 between Messenger Valley Pharmacy and Dr. Mulhern's office. The work will be done on or around July 5th, 2019. The reason we came to this decision is that the buildings are structurally unsafe and present a hazard to the public. We have not been able to use them for any purpose for several years because of their instability and they continue to deteriorate. And it's signed by the CEO of Grace Cottage. So it's information, but they have begun work on the demolition of that particular piece of
Isn't
property.
that a historic building?
I wouldn't know.
Well, I've heard it was from people that have lived here as long as I have.
Then it's an issue.
Yeah, I would imagine that the hospital did their due diligence before they decided to hire a demolition crew. I don't know the answer to that, Joe. Off the top of
Why
my head.
wouldn't it be a historical place if the ones that are all beside it right down through there are historical? Why wouldn't that one be?
Well, it'd have to be on the historical registry.
I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure that a few of the other ones are, aren't they?
I don't know what on that road is actually designated as historical. I really don't. But that's certainly something that you could ask. If you could find an answer, maybe bring it back to us, that would be fine.
We'll do that.
Thank you.
Preferably before they destroy it.
Before the wrecking ball comes down Route 30.
Well, that's
It's already
tomorrow.
done, yeah.
So how would you like me to respond to your request to get it back to the board? Email tomorrow? Can I
Works for
email
me.
Carla and,
And she can get it out to all of us, is that okay?
Yeah.
If you could, please.
yeah, I will.
All right, so anything else from correspondence standpoint? Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. This is over. Okay, then moving on to members of the public, we have none. Old business appointments, I don't believe there's anybody that has stepped up and offered to fill any of the vacant positions. We're still looking for quite a few here on the list. We've done better this year than we've done it recently, but we still do have several openings for anybody who's looking to participate in town government. Excuse me. I'll say, so the next thing is the revised personnel policy, which we talked about fixing the error, the typo in the date for the start time for the highway crew. And we also were carrying over another change, which was the switch between summer and winter hours. And we just happened to get that wrong. So if everybody's okay with the fact that that change has now been up, it's been posted, and there's been no comment, then that would essentially put that policy into effect as it is written with those times. So we can go ahead and finalize that. Carla, you get a copy in the folder of the finalized personnel policy, at least for the moment. Okay. So we did actually, which surprised all of us when we walked in the door, we actually got a bid for gravel crushing. And it's from Mr. Fitzpatrick. Let's see what we got here. $5 per yard.
Inch and a quarter.
Okay, inch quarter in the town pit. God, you can read his writing. So that's the bid for the 35,000. It's $5 a yard.
How's that compared to last year's, Steve? Do you know?
450.
450 last year.
Yeah.
So would someone like to
That's
make?
the only bid we've got.
That's the only one we got. Anybody like to make a proposal, make a motion?
I'd make a motion to accept the bid. If that's the only one we have.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the proposal of Fitzpatrick Excavating to crush roughly $35,000 worth of gravel at $5 per yard from the town pit, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes. So Carla, again, we'll need to notify Mr. Fitzpatrick that he can begin work at any time. He doesn't say when he could get it done, but I'll sign this and you can get it back to him. When do you actually, you want it done
I want-
ASAP?
Not ASAP, but I would like it done by October.
Okay, can you relay that message as well?
That would be sooner rather than later.
October 2019.
Where you put that on?
I want that material for mud season next year.
Okay, so this has been signed, it'll be on the clipboard to be dealt with. All right. So those are all done. Next item on the agenda is a discussion about mowing Taft Meadow. Evidently, they need to get out to pump the old municipal system that is on Taft Meadow.
Seems to me that they were able to go out there last year, right about like good time for second cutting. Had no problem driving out one way, turning themselves around and coming out, setting over perfectly to make two nice sets of ruts right across the second cut hay. So I don't know why they couldn't drive through the hay this year when it comes to first cut, because they obviously know how to get out there. Was it you that brought it up? Can you tell me why?
Because I have to mow the septic field.
Well, I understand that you gotta mow the septic field, but
No.
usually, if they can get out there when there was second cut hay last year, how can they not get out there when there's first cut this year?
No, they could. But he had problems with Liz Dairy, and
Everybody has problems with
Look at
listing,
that.
so we're not talking like an uncommon
yeah,
thing.
right. But he wouldn't do it until she had the money to pay it. And I'll check with the one doing it now and see if they got any money. If not, I just won't even worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, you see what my point is, because
Yeah.
I've mowed it the last couple of years, and Mike Bernard mowed it before me, and both of us have had the same problem. We got the dirt bikes riding on it, we got Jim Crozier mowing wherever the hell he wants to mow, we've got people riding out there with their vehicles, taking a dump on everything, and it's more than just mowing the field. You gotta end up tending to the knitting across the clear shipments, Oakwood Cemetery stuff. It's like, it's BS. We asked before to not put wheeled vehicles on it. The sign was torn down within 45 minutes. It's a big FU to the town as far as what goes on there. It's like you take your time, you try to go out and you do a good job. And it's like, you know, right now the grass is high. The truck doesn't want to drive through it. The people don't want a dirt bike on it anymore. It's like, well, why not just leave it high? You know, as soon as you mow it, everybody's going to want to drive on it, take a big, huge shit on it. I'm sick of doing it. And unless I get paid, I don't want to do it. And I don't mind doing it if I get paid, but I'm sick and tired of doing it for free and having half the town, and not half the town, but a few people take a big dump on it. And it's ridiculous. I voiced my opinion before. I thought that we went into a situation where we put an ordinance in with no wheeled vehicles on there, but evidently that didn't happen. You know, we got people burning out on the town ball field. We've got, you know, letters sent from SVE about the D-box being used as a jump. I don't know. What do you want to do with it, Joe? What would you do? If it was yours, what would you do?
I would have to think about that. But
Well, would you want to take and keep doing it for free? Or would you want to get compensated for doing a good job?
I used to do that one that I do for free because Russell was in charge of it. And if I needed any lawyer work, he would do it, and I didn't get charged for it.
You know, I wouldn't mind a situation like that, but I don't think that Hans Russell's going to give me any lawyer work.
His
Not
land
anymore.
Not anymore, so it's like,
His land came right to Liz's barn, the fence right behind the barn.
yeah. So,
So, but that still doesn't answer the question. I mean, when you spoke to me about it, I put it on the agenda because you told me that they would not go out and pump it until there was a path mode.
Right.
And so that's why it's on the agenda and why it's up to the board to decide what you would like to do. Do you want to mow it? Do you want to leave it high? What would you like to do with it? I mean, we do have, just to kind of throw fire or gasoline on the fire, we are talking about building a fire station out there. They are going to be out there, they are going to be looking over the grounds, trying to decide a building and this, that, and the other out there. So it makes sense at some point in time that that is mowed down so they can walk around out there, but.
Seems to me the people that ride out there keep their lawns mowed. They could bring their lawnmowers across Route 35 as quick as their dirt bikes and mow that.
I don't think that's gonna happen, so it's still up to
Well,
us
I don't,
to
but
decide.
at least you can bring it to the table and ask. Or maybe you could ask.
I think a mowing party would be fun.
Well, it is fun until it's like 110 degrees on the machine you're running and you're stuck there hanging out. And then the fun comes out of it really quick.
So would like someone like to make a motion, or do you wanna just table it?
So is the issue that it needs to be mowed and nobody wants to mow it because they're not getting paid, or is the issue, does it need to be mowed? I'm kind of lost.
Both.
Both. And if we don't mow it, what are you saying, Joe? Somebody won't go out there and pump something out?
What's that?
What's the issue if it doesn't get mowed?
They probably won't pump it.
They want, the old town sewer system that used to be the elementary school on that side of the road, that's where their system is out of Taft Meadows. And they have to annually pump that out. So they don't wanna go out while the hay's high or the grass is high. to
But see, last year they could go out when it's 2 feet deep and had no problem navigating the field to get out there. So it's like, all they had to do was, last year, is drive in between the trees and make the easiest route to get out there, but this year it's a huge deal.
And did we change septic pumping companies or something?
I don't know and I don't care.
Somebody say something.
I'm inclined to table it until we can figure out.
It'd be nice to have a little more information.
Hey,
on
right,
what the
like,
issue
when
really
somebody
is,
can
instead of
contact the
third-hand
septic
roundabout,
company, yeah,
Somebody's
exactly.
here saying something that somebody won't do something.
So who is the septic company that
Who is
won't
it?
go out?
Holden, Jeff Holden, Gilpin,
Now, is that the same company that did it last year?
he's been doing it since day one.
Because I called down last year and they told me that they didn't do it. They didn't have anybody in the area that day and that they definitely did not pump that system. Because I called, because I was that irritated by it.
Can't tell you.
Well,
I wonder,
They tell you.
I wonder if it's worth a
Yeah.
phone call to see what the issue, to hear right from this gentleman what the issue is
Mhm.
with
Tanks over there.
pumping
Yeah, I
the
agree.
septic.
Well, one question is, do we know who is actually in charge of this, of the old sewer account?
Well,
Is that Liz?
I think now, I gotta call her and see, Diana Lane.
She's taking that
She
over?
called me last year and wanted to pay me, and I said, no, you don't, because I've already been paid.
If you think it's Diana Lane, can we explore the possibility by talking to whoever's responsible now for it and actually finding out who they want to pump it and what kind of
What the issue
restrictions,
is.
what kind of restrictions the town needs to deal with for them to be able to get out there?
You know, send her over.
You know, if it is Diana, I thought it was Liz though that was
Well,
doing it.
she's done it since Russell left, but
Okay.
she's down on the Cape, I guess.
Oh, okay, so Diana's taking that over.
Yeah, she took it over last year.
Okay, well, we might just ask her what
Yeah.
needs to be done, just so we have some direction to go.
Because she didn't know how long she would be there. 'Cause they hadn't had a meeting or nothing, so I don't know what the situation is.
Okay. Okay, well, we should probably figure that out before we try to make a decision. All right, so we'll put that on, to be followed up with on the next agenda, Carl, the mowing. All right. And then the next item is, there's been a request to have a discussion, and you all got a photocopy, I have mine, a photocopy of the section of the personnel policy that deals with benefits for elected officials and employees. And we've had a request to reconsider the spousal benefits for employees who are receiving Medicare. Evidently, the employee's spouse is going to be moving on to Medicare shortly, and the question has come up as to whether or not the town will continue paying for the health insurance as it stands, whether we will pick up the supplemental cost, and whether or not we will reimburse, if not, whether or not we will reimburse the Medicare costs for the spouse.
I feel like we had a pretty lengthy discussion about this when we wrote it. I'm not inclined to change it.
Anybody else?
I would agree with that. I think the eligibility for Medicare is the spouse would roll into Medicare and come off the town insurance rolls.
Well, quite frankly, what we're getting into here is a crossover of who the insurer is. In this particular case, the employee is no longer on the town insurance either. So there's no obligation from the town's perspective to be the insurer. So it's kind of confusing. This is one of those gray areas, and the request has been made, and I said I would bring it forward, put it on the agenda for us to reconsider the language that is in the policy and whether or not that was binding.
I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see the wording as gray. I feel like it's pretty straightforward.
Well, I meant a gray area as far as whether or not we should even be reimbursing Medicare costs for the employees. I mean, that's kind of gray regardless, but it takes another step with the spouse.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so does someone want to make a motion? Or does someone want, I mean, there needs to be a definitive answer.
I would move that we leave the policy as is.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of leaving the policy as written, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, so the motion passes. All right. I don't think there's any need for an executive session. Again, we're gonna make our 7 o'clock deadline. We still need to hold harmless numbers for the taxes, so as we talked about before the meeting, seeing what everybody's schedule looked like, we may have to have an off meeting to actually set that tax rate if those numbers do come in. So be prepared to get a phone call or an email asking if you're available to do that. The next regularly scheduled meeting is July 23rd at 6:30. And if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion at 7 o'clock to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you all.